looks like Apple is coming after Google in their entire search model. If you don't know, Google makes a bunch of money. I'm talking billions of dollars using their Google search. This is where advertisers go to, well, make sure that people are coming and paying advertisement for their high rankings and search results. So if you pay Google money, you will be ranked higher, which is great if you're trying to sell a product or you want to drive traffic to a certain place on the websites. Because, well, if you're ranked higher in Google, if you have, let's say, a book or a car you want to sell and you're ranked number one, you'd rather be ranked number one because you're going to be the first one seen. Not only that, I think the odds of people even going to the second or third page on Google is less than a percentage. So if you're on the second page, you're probably just not going to be seen at all at this point. So people pay a lot of money to rank high on search results. But also, that's not the only thing that happens when it comes to Google. Apple is also one of their main contributors when it comes to revenue for search. I think like about 36% of their revenue come from people who use Apple products, iPhone, Macs and stuff, which is billions of dollars worth of revenue that they'll be losing out on if Apple decides to do their own thing with search. And that's a huge blow to the Google advertisement model. This is a pretty big deal, not only because Google makes so much money from that, but also because Google has been in court recently for their anti-monopolistic practices monopolistic practices that are allowing Google to basically beat out every other competition when it comes to having Google everywhere. Google literally paid Apple, I think, about $20 billion just to have them as the default search on Apple products. And the courts were thinking about maybe even having Google not be able to pay companies directly to become the default search on these devices, like an iPhone, like a Galaxy or something, to not have that happen anymore. And that would be a huge blow because it would kind of playing field, but also lower how far Apple goes and how far they can get within the phone space and how much people will actually pay for that. But I do wonder what would fill the void of Google's lack. Will this step up Microsoft and people using Bing? Or will this open up the door for like Perplexity or ChatGPT? We already see a lot of people moving toward AIs to do a lot of shopping online, where we saw Google was once the leader in, but we see ChatGPT has now even improved their shopping on the app that doesn't even have ads. Even with Apple said that they are thinking about including ChatGPT as well as Perplexity as to aid in their search. There's been a lot of just traffic lost in general to Perplexity and ChatGPT. And we know that Google uses Gemini for their search, and they have this whole entire AI search feature, as well as they're having the AI overview. So when you do search something up, there's like summary of what your results are, which I don't know, I think it kind of dilutes the value of paying for ads on Google, because if your AI overviews at the very top above your ads, it's paying you to appear first, but I'm not even first, I'm like to you. Why am I competing with the company I'm paying for ad space, essentially, right? Which I understand like is a huge thing, but I'm not sure how well that fits into this whole entire ad model. Especially sometimes it seems like it summarizes information from the top search results. So if you paid for an ad to be top of mind, it will sometimes just give you the information. But sometimes, of course, you're looking for a product or something else, so that may not be the same thing. But I know since I'm in a tech space, I look up tech information. And so I know some company answer questions for tech professionals like me, but they have ads on the page. So if you're not like clicking on that page and AI is just summarizing it at the top with Gemini, you're not getting that ad because Gemini is just summarizing it. Either way, I do understand that this is a very big deal for Apple, because it could make them money, and Apple's playing this pretty smart, where Apple is not necessarily trying to develop their own AI, but they're using their own existing platform, using their iPhones, their Macs, and the Apple ecosystem to leverage other people's AI. So instead of going head to head like Google Gemini is doing with ChatGPT is doing with Claude, what Claude is doing with Perplexity, and so on and so forth, like DeepSeek, they're now, instead of doing that, they're just using, like, I have users. If you want your AI to be easily accessible with my users, we'll strike a deal. And that's why Google pays Apple to be like a default search engine on Apple, so they can easily leverage Apple's massive user base, which is a good idea. Why fight with people when you could profit off of them? It makes sense. As well as we've seen in more recent years where Google has Google Pixels, right? So now they're direct competitors with Apple, not only in the phone space, but Google also has like in different laptops that you can buy that kind of compete head to head with, well, Apple. So if you're going to be my competitor, compete with me in the product market as well as in like tech space with your own, why would I then want to do business with you while I quietly just go into the dark? Who wants to do that, right? Either way, it does seem like this is going to be very interesting, not just for Apple, but for Google in the whole AI space as a whole. But we'll see where that heads. If you want to keep up with the latest and greatest AI news, robotics news, quantum news, you should definitely like and subscribe. And you should definitely tell me down below in the comment section what you think about all of this. Do you think this is absolutely crazy for Apple to be doing? Or do you think that it's about time Google got dethroned as the search engine? Either way, this is going to be a very interesting turnout. With that being said, your boy Dex Not Dexter out.